Dear Fletcher, a mutineer, movie star, a surfer, and a maker of arrows. Fletcher is an occupational name that means arrow maker. And Fletcher was also somebody who had the responsibility of equipping the bowmen with arrows, which was probably a pretty important responsibility in the medieval armies. Some say that Fletcher also comes from a Germanic name that means people's army. The earliest Fletchers were that of the Norman Vikings who landed in Scotland around 870, and a notable ancestor was Jean de la Flèche, who was born in 1030. The first recorded spelling of the family name was Robert le Fletcher in 1203. Clan Fletcher in Scotland has this colored tartan, and their family motto is Recta Peta, which is Latin for search for right things. The name Fletcher can be found on the Mayflower and in the early colonies in the 17th century. It can also be found in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia in the 18th century, and Australia and New Zealand in the 19th century. So as a name, it's been around a lot. Fletcher has been worn by politicians, businessmen, a poet. Fletcher's been in music, people in the military, a physicist, athletes, actors. It's worked in NASA. And don't forget about the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. The most famous Fletcher is probably Fletcher Christian, who lived from 1764 to about 1793. And he's been portrayed in five movies called Mutiny on the Bounty. And if you haven't guessed, he created a mutiny and he settled in Tahiti, where he had a little boy and he named him, wait for it, Thursday, October Christian. There are also a scad of books about Fletcher Christian. And in the theme of the sea, you surfboarders probably know of the aerial surfer and rebel Christian Fletcher. He was named one of the top 16 surfers of all time, and he's been featured in a ton of surfing videos and movies. And I bet you didn't know that Phineas and Ferb's last name is Flynn Fletcher. I really like the name Fletcher. It just seems really cool. It's outdoorsy and woodsy, athletic, has sweet arrow skills. It's adventurous, inquisitive, and all those other synonyms and related words that are synonyms and stuff of what I just said and stuff. It has this sleek hipster feel, and yet at the same time feels so Robin Hood-ish. The most obvious nickname is Fletch, but some other ones that I thought were cool are Flet, Fetch, Etch, Flick. I think Flick is cool, and Ferb. I couldn't resist adding that. And why not Arrow? If you really like the name Arrow, but it's a little too daring for you to use, I think you could totally use the nickname Arrow with using the name Fletcher. I also think that if you used a middle name that started with N, that you could totally use the nickname Flynn for that. So some combos that I love for Fletcher are Fletcher Fox, Fletcher Ingram, Fletcher Henry, Fletcher Nate, you could use that Flynn nickname, and Fletcher Miles. Like Callum Fletcher, Bodie Fletcher, Truman Fletcher, Thomas Fletcher, and my favorite is Koa Fletcher. I think that just sounds so cool. Like, could you imagine meeting a Koa Fletcher? If you still need convincing of how cool Fletcher is, go check out the children's books, Fletcher Fox, that are pretty much awesome, and you're welcome. I bet you didn't know that a name that seems so straightforward has so much history. Do you like Fletcher? Leave your comments below. Thanks so much, that's all, and remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.